All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I was reading through this article earlier this morning, very good information in here, and I wanted to bring this out dealing with this here. This was said by Peter Schiff, or Chiff, or Schiff. The recession is already here, and it won't be mild. And because now there's talks of, are we headed for a recession? Is it already here? Are we near it? And so on and so forth. So now, before I read the article, what I want to do is I typed in here, what is a recession, basic definition, so they can exclude all those extra terms. And there are a few points I wanted to read on it, just to give a bit more clarity to those that aren't too familiar with what it is, right? So, what is a recession? It says the website also defines a recession as a recession is a significant decline in economic activity spread across the economy. So economic activity goes into things like, buying, selling, working, things that every day-to-day things that make the economy run, right? You get a job, you work, you pay bills, money is circulating through, all right? These different activities that are going on is causing the money, which is like the blood, to flow through the economy, okay? It says here, lasting more than a few months. So when something happens that slows down that activity, right, that economic activity, whether it's people losing jobs, people not spending, and all of that or production, because you have supply and demand, right? So production slowing down, things like shortages, and when they go on, they last, for a certain period of time. All right, it says normally visible in real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, and wholesale retail sales. So these are like indicators, showing how intense the slowdown is, right? So now it says, what is a recession and why does it happen? It says in economics, a recession is a business cycle contraction. Okay, when there is a general decline in economic activity. Let's get some synonyms on that. So you have the word contraction. It says the process of becoming smaller or shrinking or decline. Okay, so plugging that back in here, a recession is a business cycle contraction, right, where the business cycle shrinks or declines when there is a general decline in economic activity. Okay, recessions generally occur when there is a widespread drop in spending. And what could be a cause of that? Well, prices, going up. Okay, when prices increase, spending slows down. And this is why they were saying that when the feds, when they hike interest rates, it gets more expensive, to borrow money and that kind of thing. So it's supposed to, in essence, in some way, spark up the flow of the economy, basically to balance things out a bit. All right, I'm not an expert into the details of these things, okay, but nevertheless, you have certain events that can drop that spending. When things become more expensive, people can't spend as much as they used to. Right, so they start to cut down on, things, the little things here and there that normally you wouldn't regard, your little memberships and subscriptions, but you start to cut down on that because it's too expensive. You cannot afford to spend that, so you're not spending as much. And what's it called? I re-uploaded or reposted a video that I finally found a clip of it, and it's titled "How It Will Go Down." And it goes into a story of, like I believe it's like an economic crash and in that economic chaos, in that sense, all right, inside that video, and the narration is pretty good, so I recommend checking it out. But lastly, it has here, how does a recession affect the average person? It says reduced income leads to reduced entertainment, dining, and extracurricular activity expenses. People cut back on extras during a recession, so many families must make drastic changes to their pre-recession lifestyle. It's harder to spend money, so you got to be careful how you spend it. This means fewer trips, shared experiences, and missed opportunities because of lack of funds. But that's going to be the least of their problems in this time. And the problem this time, making it worse, is not only is, like it says here, reduced income, prices of things are going up, but Slack it, they're going up exponentially because of this inflation, which is transitioning into hyperinflation. So you're getting the double trouble, so to speak. Okay, so very soon that mirth, all that entertainment and dining and going out and doing this, and I want to take a road trip here, and I want to go here, and I want to do this, that's all going to be shut down because you can't afford it. All right, you can't afford it. You can barely afford to put gas in your car to get to work. So now with that information, let's read this. This is from zerohedge.com, and Lord willing, I'll leave the link in the description box. So it says the mainstream is concerned about the Fed pushing the economy into a mild recession as it battles inflation. Peter Schiff recently appeared on NTD News to talk about the economy. And he said the recession is already here and it's not going to be mild. And he's been warning of this, of the bubble, that's about the economic bubble that's getting ready to pop, and he's been warning about this for years. Now it says, first of all, I think the recession has already started. I think we're in it now. It's just early. Peter reminded the audience that the first quarter GDP data already came in as a negative print. I don't think it's going to be a mild recession. I think this recession is going to be worse than the Great Recession that started following the 2008 financial crisis. Now, watch it. I think he's going to say it. It says, few people in the mainstream saw the Great Recession coming either. In fact, when we were 6 or 7 months into that recession, the Federal Reserve and other economists still claimed that there was no recession anywhere in sight. There you go. So this recession is going to be much worse than that one. And he does have a point, because even when inflation was already kicking in, they said, nope, ain't no inflation. Then they came out and said, oh, it's a little bit, it's transitory, it'll pass. Now they say, no, it's not transitory, it's here to stay. So when you see the signs, you clearly see the signs of what's going on, and they're coming out and telling you, no, that's not what's going on. No, there ain't no recession coming. Ain't no, everything is gonna be fine. They're lying to you. All right, it's called damage control. But over time, you'll start to realize that, like he's saying, by the time they actually start to tell you, all right, it looks like it's a little bit more than we thought, you're already going to be in the heart of it. Okay? So it says here, Peter said, ongoing inflation will make this recession particularly problematic. See? Inflation is actually going to be exacerbated by the recession. Exacerbated meaning is going to be intensified, for lack of a better word. It says, so Americans are going to have the worst of both worlds. A worse recession than the Great Recession of '08, but worse inflation than anything we've experienced in the 1970s. So you got people that are, even up to this very point, they don't, and a lot of them don't actually understand what is going on. They know that prices are going up. They know, okay, gas is going up. There's a baby formula shortage, but they don't understand why is that happening. What does that mean? How does that lead or affect us in the short term and in the long term? They don't know that because they don't read about it. They don't even look into it a little bit just to at least understand, okay, what's going on and what mindset should I be in, and what maybe preparations or spending habits should I start cutting down on, and little things like that. So by the time that it dawns on them by hitting them in the face, they're gonna be already caught in the middle with no time or room for preparation whatsoever. Mainstream pundits say one reason we don't have to worry about a financial crisis like the one in '08 is because banks are in good shape. Peter said the banks are only in good shape until the value of their collateral collapses and people can't repay their loans. That's what happened in the last financial crisis. This one is going to be even bigger because the economy has a lot more debt now than it did in 2008, which is true. And Americans are less able to pay it when interest rates rise because the balances are much greater. You see how that's like it's really just set up to crash. So we're in much worse shape as a result of all the bailouts and all the stimulus that prepared or that papered over the last crisis. So now the one we're dealing with is going to be much worse because we kicked the can down the road instead of solving the problem when we had the chance. And ultimately, man, with the upcoming events that are gonna make it worse, as time goes on, it's gonna more things are gonna arise. Okay, putting more strain on the problems that are already here as they are right now. So looking at it from a perspective of, okay, this is what things look like right now. So if we do this, this, and this, we can try to start, alleviating that. But you got to keep an account. A week from now, things might be different. A month from now, things might be drastically different. Okay, you might need to factor in more problems that that seem like they came out of nowhere that now put you in a worse condition. All right, the Lord was not lying. All right, neither was he playing around when he said this is going to be a time like never before. This is going to be a time of great hardships and sorrows and sufferings for the world. So no matter how you slice the cake or how you try to cut it, it's going to say the same thing. It is what it is. All right. It says here, is there a remedy or is the damage already done? There is a remedy, but it's not without pain. And unfortunately, it's the middle class and the poor who are going to feel the pain the most. Yeah, because ultimately there's that killing off of the middle class. There ain't gonna be no such thing as middle. All right, you either gonna be rich or you're gonna be poor. That's it. And that gap is gonna be very, very, very wide. All right. Because if the feds fight inflation, it's middle class and poor people who are going to suffer the most during the inflation fight. If they don't fight inflation because they think they don't want to, they think they want to spare the middle class the pain of a horrible recession, well then they're going to suffer even more with massive inflation. So you're blocked in on either end. You make one move, you're facing the trouble of one thing. If you don't, you're facing the trouble of another. The stock market has been in a free fall for weeks. How much lower can stocks go? So these are questions that were asked to him, and he's answering. He said they can drop a lot further, and they will drop a lot further until the Fed does a about face and acknowledges how weak the economy is. Yeah, because they've been lying to you this whole time. They've got these people deceived, and that's how they always play it. All right, the feds, and yeah, they're not here to come and report to you accurate news. No, the insiders are the ones that know what's truly going on, when to sell, when to what's going to become of this market, because it's not a free market, it's a fixed market. So for everybody else, these other investors that are out here, and they're going based off of what the Fed is saying and based off of what things look like on the surface level, they're going to be in for a nice shock. Because you got some investors that are, banking on a free market behavior of the stock market, but it's not going to behave that way because it's been manipulated and tempered, all right, and altered far too many times. So over the years, they've learned how to control it, and how to utilize it how they want it to go. Peter emphasized that the Fed is only pretending it's going to fight inflation. Oh man, because it's also pretending the economy is strong enough to withstand the fight. It's not. Even though the fight is inadequate to solve the inflation problem, it's going to cause a big problem for the economy that is so levered up on debt. And the goal of these elites is to crash the economy. So they're not actually going to, I mean, they may make it look like it, like they're trying to, do something about it. But the only thing that they're trying to do is to help it crash even faster. Meanwhile, you have people like Elizabeth Warren saying businesses are gouging customers. They're not. They're actually not raising prices enough. They have to raise prices more. They have to raise prices more because businesses have been taking a hit in their margins. They're going to have to prepare to reduce sales at higher prices because customers don't have the money and that's when the layoffs begin. See, so all this is going to be tied in, and that's going to bring a lot of layoffs. And like I said in the video that I posted, I had already uploaded on my channel, so I just reposted it. I didn't re-upload it. I reposted it. Okay, and it's called "How It Will End" or "How It Will Go Down." And it goes into that layoffs, people losing their jobs, and it's harder for people who, they have jobs that are, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, expendable, right? Jobs that aren't in the essentials, right? Health, food, shelter, like the essentials that they really need you for. But and also jobs where there's an abundance. If there's an abundance and it's like, all right, we can afford to just drop you, that's what's going to happen. So how do you then take care of yourself with crazy high inflation? All right, prices going up, you can't afford a damn thing. And then on top of that, your savings are not doing you good because the currency is going down so fast that your savings just get blown through like it's nothing. Now you have no income coming in and you're just there. And it's not going to be for one or two or three people. It's going to be for a lot of people. So eventually, they're going to take matters into their own hands. Peter said this is a recipe for rising inflation and surging unemployment at the same time. So what should Americans do? Stock up on the stuff that you need now while they can still afford it. Prices are going to go much higher for basic necessities. Yeah, because these businesses, they need to accommodate for the losses. They're not going to be taking L's for you. So it's only a matter of time before they're like, all right, this joint, we cannot keep this going. And they're going to hike it up. Okay, it says, and Peter said that we could see government price controls down the road, which is something that they always do, even in Rome. All right, they start this, and it's just a trend. It's the beginning of a trend that leads to worse things. It says that would make things even worse, causing more widespread shortages. But would the government really impose price controls? We did it in the 1970s. Why wouldn't they do it again? The government has a history of repeating its mistakes. It never learns from them. Well, this time, and I'm sure in past times as well, it's deliberate. Okay, it's deliberate, and this time they're trying to bring this place down. Okay, so like I said, I'll put this article in the description, but I want to get a couple of precepts. This is the book of Isaiah 24 and 11. It says, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. All right. And we know when you read the scriptures, there's times when, the truth or this knowledge is referred to as wine. spice, wine, oil, water, so on and so forth. But ultimately you are going to have people searching for answers. They're going to be searching for that information, but they're not going to get it. And the point that I wanted to get here is that all joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone because of the hard times that are coming. Remember, 2nd Ezra 15 shows you how people are going to be behaving in this time, but it also says because of a lack of bread and great tribulation. A recession is great tribulation. Okay, them breaking into people's houses and doing all this, they're going to be triggered to do that by the hard, harsh times that are coming. So they're not going to be having that mirth. As we read here, how recession affects a person, it means fewer trips, shared experiences, and missed opportunities because of lack of funds. All right, so people ain't going to be having a good time, during this thing. I had somebody tell me they're waiting for the recession so prices could go down and they could buy. I'm like, do you understand what you just said? But hey, um, this is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 8, verse 50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world." So we're in the latter time right now because they have walked in great pride. And that many great miseries is going to be hidden, all right, during the time of Jacob's trouble. And those that are not of the elect, those that have walked in great pride, that despise the law of the Lord when they had yet liberty to repent, very many great miseries are going to befall you, and there's going to be no way out of it. Okay, so get ready, because as Peter Schiff is saying, the recession is already here. And it's not going to be mild. It's not going to be something, you just get by. It's not going to be what the feds are saying. The feds purposely come and give you delayed information. All right? So then it makes it harder to do something about it because they're not really trying to do something about it. But anyway, I'm gonna end it here. Lord willing, you were edified. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodesh. Until next time, Shalom.